Welcome to the Jimmy Warren Show. It's time for another hour of incredible conversations with the biggest names in music. Now here's your host, Jimmy Warren.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Jimmy Warren Show. We're so grateful that you've tuned in tonight. You know, like I say all the time, doesn't matter where you are in the world, we're just grateful that you're here. And with that said, you know, we just checked the analytics at the JimmyWarrenShow.com website, and we're looking at over 300,000 visitors per month, and they're coming from all over the world. So we're so thankful to the people in Japan and Australia and Canada and the Netherlands and Germany and Brazil, all you people that are tuning in and coming to our website. You know, I just want to say a personal thank you. And I'm sure that the artists that are on the show and the music that you hear and the interviews you hear, I'm sure from them they probably are grateful as well. Now, the reason I do this show is to promote these artists and this music. You know, I love music so much, and I like all different kinds of music. And, you know, I've been in the industry as a musician and as, you know, ran a label and done different things for a number of years. And, you know, it's just really, really important to make sure that people know about these artists and this music and that. And so that's why we do the show, you know, and I want to thank the artists and the labels and the publicists and the managers and the agents and everybody that participates in helping me to get these people on the show. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. And so I appreciate the secondhand help there. It's really, really appreciated. Now, I'm going to give a couple of announcements before we get into our show tonight. First thing is that you'll notice at the JimmyWarrenShow.com website and also on the Artist First Radio Show website for the Jimmy Warren Show that the archive links and pages are down. Now, they're being upgraded and updated, and it's going to take a few days because there's quite a few shows backlogged, not just from the Jimmy Warren Show, but also from my other show, America's Blues Radio, which airs on Wednesdays. So it's going to take a few days, but we appreciate your patience, and they'll be back up hopefully by the end of the week, the beginning of next week at the very, very latest. So, you know, once again, we appreciate your patience on that. Also, too, hopefully around the same time, we'll be able to launch the Jimmy Warren Show YouTube channel. Some of the videos that I've started doing are on video and Skype video, so that we'll be able to put those directly onto the YouTube channel there for the Jimmy Warren Show. And then hopefully after the first of the year at some time, we're trying to launch the iTunes podcast for the Jimmy Warren Show. So hopefully soon it'll be available on iTunes after the first of the year. So there is a lot going on. Now, what we've decided to do also too is you'll start to notice that at the end of each program, the last like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of the show, we're going to focus on unsigned or unknown bands and play tracks from some of these guys to get you familiar with it. That's a big passion for the Artist First Radio Network is music that you've never heard before. And we want to honor that, of course, on the Jimmy Warren Show. You know, we want to bring you the names. We want you to hear from, you know, the big artists, but we also want you to be very familiar with some of the other people that are out there that are extremely talented and working very hard. And so tonight, at the end of the program, you'll hear music from, I think, just a fantastic young guy in Michigan. His name's Mike Leslie. He's got the Mike Leslie Band. We'll hear a couple of tracks from him at the end of the night, okay? But tonight, my guest is a founding member of the Guess Who. He's also a founding member of Bachman Turner Overdrive. He was in Iron Horse, Brave Belt, and he's been a part of the Ringo Starr All-Star Band. And we're talking about music icon, music legend, Randy Bachman. That's right, Randy Bachman is with us tonight on the Jimmy Warren Show. He's got a new project out. It's called Every Song Tells a Story, the Vinyl Tap Tour. And it's a DVD, CD package. It's really, really good. I'm telling you. And it's got all his hits on it. Everything from These Eyes and No Sugar Tonight, American Woman, Rolling Down the Highway, Taking Care of Business, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Let It Ride, all the good stuff. And it's kind of like a storyteller kind of atmosphere and setting, plays the music, talks about the music and that. And it's getting great reviews, and it's really a good project. So, we're excited to be promoting that tonight for Randy in that. And so, we don't want to waste any more time with me jabbering. We want to get right to the really good stuff. And so here we go. This is my interview, and this is the one and only Randy Bachman.
Hi, Randy here.
Randy, Jimmy Warren.
Hi, Jimmy.
How are you, sir?
Great, how are you? Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm all ready. Are you?
Okay.
Okay, good. I'm just going to jump right in because I know you're a busy guy.
Yes, please go.
Okay, in 1960, you co-founded the Guess Who, and then in 70, when American Woman, which was a #1 hit at the time, it was like the Guess Who was at the height of their career, and you kind of walked away. Do you ever look back on that and wonder what would have happened if you would have stayed?
Yeah, I never would have had a hit with Taking Care of Business. You would see nothing yet. There would have been no BTO.
Yeah.
We would have disintegrated a year later. Anyways, band shelf life is not that long. Mm-hmm. I wish a lot of bands were together still, and they're not. I wish Led Zeppelin would play a gig, and you know what I mean. And the remaining Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr get, John Lennon's kids and George Harrison's son, and do a band, the Beatles family band. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So when you left and you started Brave Belt, did you feel like you were starting over, or did you feel like you were just moving on to something fresh?
No, I definitely started over. When I left the Guess Who, I went into the hospital for about 3 months. I had a gallbladder problem, and then when that was dealt with, they kept going without me, and I was fine, and I stayed home and got to know my wife and 2 kids who didn't know me at that point because I'd been constantly on tour, and started up another band, and had to make it completely different than the Guess Who, or who were still on the charts, and I didn't want to be a second-rate Guess Who, and so I'd rather be a nothing than a second-rate Guess Who, so I started from scratch, and Neil Young had quit Buffalo Springfield. They had dissolved. The same thing kind of happened, and he was back going to Picadilly. Now we're hanging out, and so I wanted to have a band like Buffalo Springfield or Poco, so I started Brave Belt. It was quite country rock. Neil helped me get a deal through Priest Records, who he was with at the time, and as the band grew and developed its sound, by the time we got to Brave Belt 3, Reprise let us go. We changed labels to Mercury, and Brave Belt 3 became BTO 1.
Wow. So you mentioned family and that. How has it been? What kind of struggle has it been to juggle family and being a professional musician like that?
Well, it's a constant struggle from the time you're a teenager, and every guy in every band will tell you the same thing. Your girlfriend wants to go to the dance on the weekend, and you happen to be playing at the dance. So you take her to the dance, and she dances with guys in the audience, and you're on stage playing, and you get pissed off because the guys are dancing with her, and she's pissed off because the girls are looking at you on stage, and it's why aren't you with me, and this struggle goes on for your entire life, and it gets worse when you get married, and it gets worse when you have kids, because there's nothing more heartbreaking than having a baby and being there for a couple of months, and the baby can suddenly talk and recognize you know who you are, and then to explain on the phone, Daddy's not coming home tonight to tuck you in bed at night, and the kid crying, saying, well, where are you? You're looking around the house. The kids don't realize at that age you're on a plane, you're in Toronto, and they're back in Vancouver or something, or you're in New York, and they're in LA or whatever. It's a lifetime balancing act and struggle that you never really win. Because when you're at home, your career is suffering. When you're on stage, your home is suffering.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be an extremely difficult position to be put in, for both the musician and the family.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I feel sorry for the wives who fall in love with a guy and expect some sort of a home life, and they get a home life 1 or 2 weeks a month, and the rest of the time they're on their own. The guy's gone, and so they start to make all the decisions, and then when you come home, you start to make the decisions, and there's this clash of decision making and responsibility and all that kind of stuff, and it's like a never-ending struggle. And people who are at home don't realize the heartache every traveling musician goes through every single night to come back to your empty hotel room.
Yeah.
And you're all alone. And it was worse in the old days. Now you've got Facebook. You can get on and have good night tea with your wife, or say good night to your kids, or tell them a story on Skype and stuff like that. In the old days, you had to save up our money and to phone home long distance, like once a week, and talk for 5 minutes and have a timer there, because if it went over 5 minutes, it was a couple $100, and that was your money for the whole week gone that you were making. So it is much easier now, but the struggle of being separated is always there.
Yeah, well, the life of a musician. You co-wrote some huge hits in that. What do you attribute, to the inspiration or the ability, to have done that? Is there just something inherent within you? Is it pure luck? What is it?
I think it's a little bit of a lot of things. I had music in me as a child. I mean, I always have a soundtrack in my head playing. There's one going on right now. And I started playing classical violin at the age of 5. And all you play in a violin is melody. Like you're playing the top line of a symphony or a string quartet. You're playing the top line, which is the melody. And I did that till I was 14. So melody was ingrained in my head. Every melody I heard, I remembered it, could play it by ear. So I started playing guitar. I played lead guitar like right away. Then I learned rhythm and chords. But I was like a lead player right off the bat. So that certainly helps in writing songs, because song is basically a rhythm track and a melody, right, with chords under it. And then a lot of study and a lot of training and a lot of adept thievery and begging and borrowing and stealing lines and notes from John Lennon and Bob Dylan and the Beatles and Mick Jagger and, you know what I mean, and Leonard Cohen and anybody who put a new rhyme together. I would try to take that and disguise it and hide it in my song, or take riffs here and there. And it's really great to hear an incredible guitar riff and hear it once and go and try and play it. And then, of course, you play it wrong, and then it becomes your own. Because if you learn it note for note, you're actually lifting it and stealing it. So if you look at how John Lennon wrote Day Tripper after touring with Roy Orbison and hearing Pretty Woman, it's the same written notes in different time sequences and different little mistakes in there. That each are respectable songs, but when one starts da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, the other one goes da-da-da-da-da, like Day Tripper and Pretty Woman. It's like pretty obvious something came from something there, and they both shared, that riff in a way.
Hi, everybody. This is Kim Wilson, and you are listening to Jimmy Warren.
Now, your newest release is called the Vinyl Tap Tour. Every song tells a story. It's a DVD and CD combination, and it's filled with, many of your hits. What was the motivation behind this release?
Well, about 12 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago, I was in London, and I saw at the Drury Lane Theatre in Soho, an evening with Ray Davies called Storyteller. Mm-hmm. So I went to see this. There was one seat left in the whole theater. I bought the last ticket. It was the last in a whole week's series of shows. And I sat there. I happened to be sitting beside a guy named Rupert Perry, who was the head of EMI in Toronto for a long time, EMI Capital. He was then the head of EMI in England and Europe. So I sat right beside him, and I knew him from Toronto. And I was enjoying the show when it was all done. He said, "Do you want to come backstage with me?" And I said, "You bet." So I went and met Ray Davies, and I had a poster I got from the front lobby, and he signed it to me, and I said, "Great show." And, I played with him in the 60s when I was with the Guess Who, and he was with the Kinks. And he looked at me, and he said, "You can do a show better than this." I said, said, what do you mean? He said, well, you've got 2 bands to champion and 2 sets of songs to tell people stories about. So I put that in my mind, and I flew back to Vancouver, where I was living at the time, and I got an offer to play a fundraiser for Canadian Cancer Society, and it was a $5,000 a plate, real posh dinner at a big golf country club outside of Vancouver, where there was a silent auction of Harley Davidsons and things like that. I mean, a big silent auction. They were raising a lot of money, and they had chosen me as their entertainment, but they said they didn't want the plates blown off the table. Could I do an acoustic set? And I said, well, music doesn't really lend itself to being acoustic, but I'll play it quieter and let me try telling the stories a la what I had seen Ray Davies do. So I put my songs in chronicle order, starting with Shaking All Over These Eyes and going right through, then a little intermission, which my life had, and then coming back after the intermission with Bachman Turner Overdrive and doing 5 or 6 songs from that era. And the evening was a big success. I thought that people would be talking during dinner over my telling the stories, but there was dead silence, and they were listening to every word, and I was kind of stunned by that. And then when it was over, they came and said, if you'd put this on a DVD, we would buy 12 copies to send to our friends and relatives all over the world. So with that being in mind, I started to do that once in a while in between my rock gigs. And it just so happened that in the spring of like a year ago, in 2013, I had so many offers. I did about a 4-week tour of this. Every song tells a story. And when it really got smooth after a while, because nothing's written, it's just me with a song list and telling the stories. And it was getting really smooth and really well honed. My manager said, we have to record this with cameras, and let's do it in the hometown of Winnipeg, where you're there in your comfort zone, where you grew up, where most of the songs were started and germinated, and you'll be surrounded by family and friends and the city that you grew up in, and let's do it. So we did that, and it came out, and he kept calling me saying, it's selling more, and then finally it got to a point where it sold so much in Canada, it got triggered to sell in the States, in England, in the UK, in Europe, and now in Australia. So I'm doing all these phoners, and I'm quite surprised at all the great reviews and how much people like it, and it's actually selling. So I'm actually starting to sell product in this day and age. I'm not selling a lot of product.
Well, I think people love the intimacy of this type of project. You know what I mean? People want to hear, from the artist. They want the artist to tell them, what the song was about or what was going on at the time or how they felt. So the reaction so far from audiences at your show has been very positive, huh?
All the audience is positive, and for the first time in my life, all of the media is positive. There has been not one harsh critical word from a critic. They're actually turned into fans, and the reviews I get are absolutely stellar. They're like they're written by my mother and father, if you know what I mean, or my champion auntie who, helped me play guitar and took me concerts growing up. It's like it's written by my manager or something. So it really is a wonderful feeling, and I've gone through the same thing myself. I spent many years in Nashville trying to hone the craft of songwriting, because I would write a loner with a certain partner, Burton Cummings or C.F. Turner in BTO, and to go and write with a stranger every day is another whole exercise of opening yourself up in conversation and sharing your feelings with someone and coming out of it in about 3 hours with a song. Normally my songwriting partnerships have been years and years of knowing the other person, the other guy in the band, and it becomes quite a natural thing to say, here's a lick, here's a riff, here's a couple of words, here's a catchphrase in writing a song. But to do it with a stranger is really something, and at night you'd go out and share these new songs, and to go and hear John Phillips tell how he wrote California Dreamin', or David Gates tell how he wrote some of the Bread songs, or the guys from 38 Special telling how they wrote their songs, it meant a whole lot more to me. And then when I would tell my stories, I found it meant the same thing to them. It was a big, wow, had no idea that thing with a truck driver, you would have written Let It Ride, or that thing with being almost drafted, you went and wrote American Woman, and things like that. So many people know a good dozen or 15 of my songs now. It just makes sense that they want to go a little bit deeper and see how and where was this written. And when I do that DVD, you can see behind me they have a big screen and a collage of photos and pictures of me from the last 40 years, from the Guess Who and BTO, showing the hairstyles, the clothing, the guitars we were playing, and a lot of high-8 film that my parents took, that all your parents took when you you're little, I have these high 8 Super 8 cameras. All that's been transferred there. So while I'm talking out front telling the story, you can see the visual behind me, and then at the appropriate moment, me and the band kick into the song and play about half the song. We don't play the whole song because the DVD wouldn't hold it all. So that's why there's an accompanying CD that has the full songs on it, because on the DVD we're just like a verse and a chorus, because basically it's the story behind the song that it's all about.
Right. Well, I have the project in. I really enjoyed it. I really did, and I love the storytelling. I think a lot of people do. So hats off to you here.
For more show information, archive shows, or to see who Jimmy's guests will be, visit the website at www.jimmywarrenshow.com. To learn more about Jimmy Warren and his new release, Just Playin', go to www.jimmywarren.info and be sure to follow Jimmy on Facebook.
You want to stand up and join me? We're going to take care of some business.
What's next for Randy Bachman after this?
Well, in a week I'm rehearsing, and in a month playing 4 dates in Canada with the symphonies, London Symphony and Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony, and the heads of PBS are flying in to see that. Kevin Shirley's coming in to produce it. He's done all Joe Bonamassa stuff, and he produced my new album that's coming out next year, and we're going to record it again in Winnipeg, December 7th, 8th, and 9th, me with the Winnipeg Symphony, with new arrangements of all those songs that you see on that DVD of These Eyes, Laughing, She's Come Undone, doing American Woman as a bossa nova,
Wow.
Taking the song and doing These Eyes the way Junior Walker did it, like an R&B up-tempo thing rather than a slower ballad, and just reinventing each song and presenting it again, and then going through the charts and getting them written out, and it's a lot of fun. And then that will be recorded as a DVD in December, and then next spring I have a new blues album coming out where I reinvented myself, I think, at the urging of Neil Young and a couple other people. I got a new band. I got a female drummer and a bass player who play like Keith Moon and John Entwistle, and so suddenly it's like this. I'm doing it's a blues album. It's called Heavy Blues because these 2 women play so heavy. We're calling it Heavy Blues. Kevin Shirley's producing. He's the premium rock producer now in the world, and we did the album live off the floor about a month ago in Toronto, and he's mixing it now in Malibu and doing the overdubs. And out of the woodwork are coming all these friends of mine for years. Who are doing guest solos on it. So my guest soloists on different tracks are Joe Bonamassa, Neil Young, Peter Frampton, Jeff Healey, Scott Holiday from the Rival Sons, a brand new Zeppelin kind of band, Robert Randolph, the great pedal steel player, and these guys are all guesting on different tracks, and I'm really excited about this album. It's like 1968-69 when you first heard the British blues pumped up and bringing back the American blues back to America, like the Who and the Yardbirds and Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix experience. It's kind of like that, a 3-piece power blues trio, and it's really super exciting. I can't wait to hear it. But I turned the reins over to Kevin Shirley to produce it, and so he's pulling and twisting and reshaping me to be something new. And back in January of this year, Neil Young, I met him in Nashville. We were being inducted into the Nashville Musicians Hall of Fame. Neil said to me, if you're doing a new album, don't do the same, don't do the same old Randy Bachman stuff and call it a new album. Because sometimes it's just a continuum of what you've already been doing. So get a new guitar, get a new amp, get a new set of clothes, get a new thought in your head, get a new band, write new songs, and do something completely off the wall. And by the way, get a producer. Because when you produce yourself, you get to a certain point, you say, oh, I'm great, that's good enough, and that becomes it. But if you get a producer who says, I think you could do one better, I think you could do a little bit more, I think you did something better 5 minutes ago, can we go back to that moment and see if we can capture it? And he'll pull you beyond your stop sign, so to speak. And I did that. I gave Kevin Shirley the reins, and he's gotten stuff out of me that amazes and excites me. And I can't wait for this album to come out and for to premiere this band with me playing with two ladies on stage. And when guys hear it, it sounds like Keith Moon and John Entwistle were backing me up, or Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, like Cream Live, that Wheels of Fire album. It's really, really amazing. And I got a different guitar, so I can't play the same licks. It has a different scale. It has different tones. So I went totally out of my comfort zone and relearned licks and rewrote songs. I showed up with a bunch of old Howlin' Wolf and Jimmy Reed songs that I kind of grew up on. And Kevin Shirley said, I don't want you to do those. Everybody's redone those old songs. Take those songs, use them as templates, and write me some new songs. So they're all new original songs and really quite exciting. But when you hear them, you'll say, gee, that's reminiscent of Spoonful.
Yeah.
That's reminiscent of my generation. That's reminiscent of, Sunshine of Your Love. And there's different reminiscences of sound textures that you will recognize as kind of classic British rock, blues rock, but it's going to be brand new. It's coming out in March or April of next year.
Wow, sounds like a great, it sounds like a really great project, and, I'll really be excited. I'm a huge blues fan, so definitely be excited to check that out.
Oh, that's great. And I also have Jeff Healy, who's a friend of mine who passed away 4 years ago. I called his widow and I said, I recorded with Jeff at Massey Hall about 5 years ago. Can I use some of his guitar tracks? And she said, I know Jeff would love it. You have my permission. So Jeff's also on one of the tracks along with jamming together, and it's just wonderful to have him there because he's a very dear friend of mine. And so I've got all these wonderful guitar playing friends who all come to the party and brought their own bowl of chips, so to speak, or their own dessert, and it's really exciting for me. I haven't heard the finished product because one of my agreements with Kevin Shirley was I wouldn't interfere with the recording or mixing process. I had to give it all to him or else he wouldn't do it. He's booked solid for the next 3 years. And he said, I have 3 weeks vacation. I'll give you 2 of them, but you got to let me do what I do in my own time because I'm busy doing Led Zeppelin and Joe Bonamassa and Iron Maiden and AC/DC, and he's doing all these other, and Aerosmith and Journey, and I'll fit you in, but you got to do it under my terms. I haven't even heard this stuff yet. I cut it, left the studio. I haven't heard the guitar track overdubs of a lot of I've heard the Joe Bonamassa and the Jeff Healy ones, but I haven't heard the other ones that are coming in. Frampton's doing his on October the 2nd. When his tour's done, he's going to send it in. So all these things are kind of being compiled and sent. That's a great thing about this day and age. You don't all need to be in the same room to make a record together. I sent 2 or 3 tracks to each of these guys. They pick one they want that they can really resonate in. They have their own engineer or home studio. They lay me down a couple of tracks. They send it back. Kevin Shirley picks out the licks, what he wants, lays it in the track, sends it to me, and I just sit there and cry. It's amazing.
Well, like I said, it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic project. I can't wait to check it out. Randy,
I'll be talking to you early next year about this in March or April.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Randy, I appreciate your time and the project. Every song tells a story. It's a great project, and we're definitely gonna try to get people to pay attention to it.
It's good. I might take it on the road. I've got a lot of people saying, why don't you bring this to our city? We've got a new theater that holds 900 or 1,200 people. It's all been restored, and it's a perfect intimate setting for you and your band to come. So I'm getting so many offers in the last couple of days because I'm doing back-to-back phoners every 20 or 30 minutes to come to Chicago, to come to St. Louis, Toledo, Cleveland, New York, San Diego, Texas, all over the place. So we might put together a couple little tours and tour this next year. If it starts selling and people react to it the way the DJs and the media have, I think I'll have a modicum of success with this project and be really happy to take it on the road.
Yeah, well, that would be outstanding. It would definitely be outstanding.
These eyes cry every night for you. These arms long to hold you again. The hurting's on me, yeah, but I will never be free, no, my baby, no, no. You made a promise to me, yeah. You broke it, oh no. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of lives, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of lives, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of lives, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you.
All right, I want to thank my guest, Randy Bachman, for appearing on the Jimmy Warren Show, talking about his new project, Every Song Tells a Story, the Vinyl Tap Tour. If you don't have it, you definitely need to rush out and get it. Go to Randy's website. You definitely want to see what's going on with him, and that's just randybachman.com. Find out where he's going to be playing at, find out what's going on. That new project sounds really cool and interesting too, especially for a guy like me that loves the guitar and fanatic about all things guitar. So, to have Peter Frampton and Robert Randolph and Bonamassa and all those guys together. I think what's really interesting about that project is how he's taking a recording that he did with Jeff Healey at one point in time, a long time ago, and incorporating it into this. That pays tribute to Jeff, who was, amazing in his own right. And it says a lot about Randy and the project. So it's definitely something to look forward to in the spring of 2015. So keep posted. Once again, go to randybachman.com. Now, just so that you know, next Tuesday on my program, I have the one and only Eddie Trunk. That's right. If you're a hard rock, heavy metal fan, well, then this is the show for you. And matter of fact, in October, it's nothing but hard rock and heavy metal month on the Jimmy Warren Show. All of my guests are within that genre, but we're kicking it off October 7th with Eddie Trunk, who is the host of the TV show on VH1 Classics, That Metal Show. And he's also got his own syndicated radio programs, of course. And he seems to be extremely passionate about hard rock and heavy metal. And I couldn't think of a better person to talk with in order to kick off this special month. So Eddie Trunk will be joining us the first Tuesday of October, October 7th. Also in October, we have Paul Gilbert is going to be on the program. We have Steve Blaze from Lillian Axe is going to be here. And then one of my favorites, Tom Kiefer. That's right, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. He just put out his own solo project last year, and it is going like gangbusters, and it is hot. I mean, really, really good. I don't know if you guys saw him on David Letterman. Man, he's kicking it up. He's got a single off there called Solid Ground that's just, smoking. The band he's got, oh my Lord, it's hot. So lots of great things coming up on the Jimmy Warren Show. And when we come back here in just a second, we're going to kick into the second part of the show with some unsigned acts that we're going to showcase and focus on. We're going to kick that off with Mike Leslie Band out of Michigan with a track he's got called Notice. So we'll play that as soon as we come back right here on the Jimmy Warren Show.
For more show information, archive shows, or to see who Jimmy's guests will be, visit the website at www.jimmywarrenshow.com. To learn more about Jimmy Warren and his new release, Just Playin', go to www.jimmywarren.info and be sure to follow Jimmy on Facebook.
nights grow long and the days get cold, with the smell of winter in the air. Summer days have been replaced, seasons and times change. Why is it life seems so unfair? So I'll search to find the answers to the questions I don't know. Somebody save me. Come on, take me away.
All right, that was Since I've Been Down by Sean Chambers off the Rock House Sessions. Sean's been a guest on America's Blues Radio in the past a couple of times, which airs Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central Time. So tomorrow morning, you can get up and you can prepare and listen to some good blues on America's Blues Radio. So right here on the Artist First Radio, you can also get to it from the Jimmy Warren Show website as well. And then right before that, like as I said, I had Mike Leslie Band, his song Notice, and then it was followed by Save Me. I think Mike's a great talent. I think he's going a long way in that. So we're really happy to be able to play his music. Now, if you're an unsigned band, doesn't matter what genre you are, as long as you're in rock and country and, blues and jazz and that sort of stuff, go to the website, and my website, jimmywarrenshow.com. Go to the contact me page, send me a note about your band and that, because we're going to start, focusing a little bit more on some of the unsigned artists and playing a lot more of their music and stuff towards, the end of our shows, like the last half hour or last 20 minutes of my show. So, my shows like tonight, you heard Randy Bachman. So if you got a band and you got some good music and you got a good project and you're looking for more exposure and that, we'd love to get you on, and we'll put you in the mix with these big guys and get you some attention, get some people paying attention to what you do. So send me a message, through our website. You can also email me at dj@americasbluesradio.com. That's another good way to do it. I want to thank my guest, Randy Bachman, for taking time out of his busy schedule, as do all the artists, in order for us to chat with him about his project. His project was called Every Song Tells a Story, the Vinyl Tap Tour. It's a storytelling CD/DVD. It's really, really good. I really liked, like I said, the new project that he's got coming out. So that sounds like it's going to be pretty hot. Also, just so you know, next Tuesday on October 7th, my new CD, it's called Just Playing, will release worldwide. You'll be able to get it anywhere that, MP3s or downloadable music will be available, iTunes, Amazon, eMusic, all that kind of stuff. And it's an EP. There's only 5 songs, but it's a departure for me. It's all inspired by my love and for 70s rock music. And that's one of the things that I share in common with my guest next week, who's Eddie Trunk from That Metal Show. One of my favorite bands growing up was UFO and Michael Schinkner and that. And I know that that's one of Eddie's, big favorites as well. So the CD was kind of inspired by those early influences in my life, and so we're going to throw it out there and test the waters. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to play a track called Blink of an Eye at the end of the program here tonight, and that, so you can get a taste of it. And you can find out more about that CD and that release at jimmywarren.info, which is my music website, and I encourage you to go there. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook for the Jimmy Warren Show and Jimmy Warren. Love to have you on there, of course, And then as you go to our website, make sure you sign up for the mailing list, because you definitely want to stay posted as to what's going on and who's going to be on and any news that we might possibly have in that. And then once a week, you'll receive an update, let you know who's coming on the show and what the schedule's going to be and all that good stuff. And so you never miss out on anything that's going on the Jimmy Warren Show. So hurrah, good for you there, huh? I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been a real pleasure to do this again. Make sure that you join me next Tuesday night, where my guest is Eddie Trunk from That Metal Show, the host of That Metal Show on VH1 Classics. And we're going to talk about all things that are hard rock and heavy metal, which he's passionate about. And our entire month of October is Hard Rock Heavy Metal Month with Paul Gilbert, Steve Blaze from Lillian Axe, and Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. So it's going to be a great month. Also, so that coming up in the very near future, got Joel Hoekstra the new guitarist for Whitesnake, Richie Faulkner, the new guitar player for Judas Priest. We also got Duke Robillard. If you're a blues fan, well, then you're definitely going to love that program because Duke's one of the best for sure. Howard and the White Boys, Rob Stone, just lots of great people coming on the program and that. So we want to thank you again for tuning in. We look forward to being with you next Tuesday. And here's the track off of my new CD that's going to release next Tuesday. I hope that you like it. It's called Blink of an Eye off of Just Playing. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
She comes and she goes. This girl is out of control. Living loud on the edge. Never giving up one inch. Gonna take everything you got. Always get her way. We'll leave you high and dry and she's gone. In a blink of an eye. Long hair, big brown eyes, running over every other guy. Smoking hot, a blazing fire, a freight train of love and desire. Gonna take everything you got. Always get her way. We'll leave you high and dry and she's gone. In a blink of an eye. Long legs, high heel shoes, swaying hard, paying her dues. She's cool, maybe smoking you up. There's no joking. Gonna take everything you got. Always get her way. We'll leave you high and dry, then she's gone. In a blink of an eye.
For more show information, archive shows, or to see who Jimmy's guests will be, visit the website at www.jimmywarrenshow.com. To learn more about Jimmy Warren and his new release, Just Playing, go to www.jimmywarren.info and be sure to follow Jimmy on Facebook.